Welcome to our mini group Bible study, False Teachers, Deception, and Discernment. Let's get started. Now, the first item is that we have a free workbook that you need to download and convert to a personal book so that you can take notes with this webinar. The link to that workbook can be found at LearnLogos.com/events. So let's go ahead and visit that webpage, and I'll show you where you can go and download that link. Now, once you get to the training event page, just simply scroll down to the webinar, Monday 3/28, Mini Group Bible Study, False Teachers, Deception, and Discernment. And you will see a link, download the free workbook for the webinar. So go ahead and click that link, and be sure to choose Save. Also, make sure you know where you save it to. That'll be very helpful in a few moments. Now I'm going to close the webpage and return to Logos Bible Software. Now, to convert this document into a personal book, you need to go to the main menu and click Tools and click Personal Books. Next, you need to click Add Book. Now, I've already created the workbook, so I'm just going to go ahead and bring it up to make it a little bit easier. Now, you may be wondering, where did I get all this information to type in? Turns out, if you go ahead and open up that workbook, all that information is there in the first couple pages. So here you have the title, the author, the copyright. So what you want to do is open up that book and simply copy and paste all that information into each of the fields. You'll notice that if you don't see some of these fields, you have an option here called Add Field, and there you can add the abbreviated title, the subject heading, the alternate title, etc. Now, once all that information is in there, you next need to click Add File and navigate to the workbook-False Teachers. Once you find that in your download folder, simply click once to select the item and then click Open, and that will add the book to the Add Body Files. Now, the image, you can put any image you want in there. You can even copy and paste the image from the website if you so choose. So go ahead and click Build Book, and in a few moments, Logos will convert the doc file into a personal book. And as you can see here, it's been created at the right. So you now have this book inside your library. I should mention, after you click Finish, if you go back and click Edit, you can click Upload. This is really helpful because if you have multiple computers with Logos on it, by uploading it to the cloud, which I'm doing right now, this book will become accessible from any Logos program you have installed on any of your computers. So that's a real handy feature. So let's go ahead and close down the personal book. And I'm going to go ahead and close the workbook for now. Okay, now that you have the personal workbook ready to go, you can begin to take notes as we move through the topic tonight. So let's go to the personal book and get ourselves started. Now, this first section is the recommended but not required resources. Now, this particular topic really does focus on two key books of the Bible, 2 Peter and Jude. This is where we get more information about false teachers than anywhere else in the Bible. Now, there's a lot of information outside of these two books, but these are the two primary resources. So what I've done is I've identified three major categories of commentaries: the concise introductory, the expositional, and the exegetical. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole list tonight, but I am going to point out a couple key books that you will find helpful. Many of you are familiar with the Bible Knowledge Commentary, excellent concise commentary. Take advantage of that. We also have the Opening Up book. Let me show you this commentary. It's pretty helpful. Again, it's a concise introductory commentary. In other words, it's going to do a lot of overview, keep things high level, focus on just the main ideas. And as you can see, it is verse by verse, but it's very concise. One advantage of a concise commentary is that you can quickly get the big picture. Now let's move to the expositional. I have several here listed, but the most important one I want to point out is the D. Edmund Hebert. Now, this is expositional, but it's really quite good, quite detailed. And it doesn't overwhelm you with all the Greek and Hebrew, but it does help you in word studies. It'll give you some background on the author, historical information, and then it'll take you through an outline and then a verse-by-verse breakdown of each verse in 2 Peter and Jude. So I highly recommend this resource just because it has a lot of unique information that you'll find helpful and it's easy to understand. The third category is exegetical. Now we have Baker and Pillar and some of the more noteworthy ones that you should be familiar with. There is one on Jude with the Evangelical Exegetical Commentary. This is a new commentary series that's being released over the next couple of years. So be aware of that they have Jude, but they don't have 2 Peter yet. But the one I wanted to point out would be the Word Biblical Commentary. This is an excellent exegetical commentary, very detailed. Give you an example. I'm going to go to 2 Peter. You can see that they've got the introduction, and they break down each passage. You have a bibliography for each section, a translation, textual notes giving you more information on the text behind the Bible and how they constructed it. Also the form, the structure, and the setting. And then we get into the actual details. And here you'll get in the commentary section a breakdown, phrase by phrase, verse by verse. Notice that they do show you the Greek, and they do include cross-references to other resources like the Apocrypha or Philo or the Church Fathers. Now, this type of commentary can be very difficult to read if you're not familiar with grammar and theology, but nevertheless, it's still pretty helpful, and it will give you access to information you're not going to find easily anywhere else. So I highly recommend Word Biblical Commentary. One other resource to bring to your attention is the Parallel resource. Now, this is already built into the Logos program, but you can access this as a separate book. So let me go ahead and open up that. It's titled Jude, 2 Peter Parallels. And what the author's done is they've put side by side Jude and 2 Peter so you can see how similar they are in word, phrases, and topics. So here's a great example. Jude opens up his book, May mercy and peace and love be multiplied to you. Peter says it this way, grace and peace be multiplied to you in the knowledge of God and of our Jesus our Lord. So this is pretty cool, showing you this side by side and how they have things in common and things not in common. When there is no parallel verse, you'll see an empty white section. But if you see a parallel, or if the author thinks there's a parallel, you'll have them side by side. So this is a wonderful way for you to quickly see the similarities and the differences between Jude and 2 Peter. Now, I believe 2 Peter was written before Jude. 2 Peter was saying, hey, the false teachers, false prophets, they're here, but there's more coming. Jude says they are here now and they're in full operation. So that may help you understand the sequence and the purpose of each of these books. Peter is warning that they're coming. Jude is warning because they are here. So take advantage of this book. I should mention, though, it does show up in the passage guide. So if we go to guides and we go to passage guide and we just type in the book of Jude and run the actual report, you'll see down below in the parallel section, Jude, 2 Peter parallels. So here's all those cross-references listed for you. So again, take advantage of this amazing resource when studying 2 Peter and Jude. Now our next section, number 3, what's in your library? The goal here is to help you find information that is already in your library on this particular topic. So before you go out and buy any resources, let's see what information you already have in your library. Now, this particular search I've already posted at faithlife.com. So let me go ahead and open up that website, show you how to get there and get the information. So we go to faithlife.com. Now, once you get to faithlife.com, if you don't have an account, you need to sign up for one. So sign up for a faithlife.com account. Then up at the top where it says Find People and Groups, type in LearnLogos.com. Very important you put the whole LearnLogos.com in there. You should get one search result, LearnLogos.com presentation. Go ahead and click on that. Now, if you haven't joined the group, you'll see an option down below to join the group. That is necessary to get access to the information in this group. I should mention we are under news, okay? So you click news in the menu there, and then you can scroll down and you can see an access to the free workbook. So here's another place you can download it. And then we have the collection name, Commentary, 2 Peter and Jude, with the specific rule. And if you click Show More, you can get the whole rule, and you can copy and paste that. We also have the specialized search here as well, so you can copy that too. Now, let's go back to Logos and show you how to use this search. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to Search, and then we're going to go to Basic Search. As I mentioned earlier, I put the collection Commentaries, 2 Peter and Jude. So we're going to search that collection instead of our whole library. By searching just the 2 Peter and Jude, We're refining our search to fewer resources, and that'll make it easier to find better results with fewer hits. For the search, you want to select from the section where it starts heading all the way down to the part where it has the quote after Antichrist. And you just want to select that, copy it, and then right-click and paste that into the search box. Once that's done, press enter or click the white arrow in the circle at the far right. Now you'll notice that we're using a specialized search, the large text or the heading. This tells Logos to search just the large text or the headings of the major sections. This is really powerful because a heading that has false teachers in it most likely is going to be a major section that's going to talk more about false teachers than another passage that, let's say, is just having a passing reference of false teacher. Finding false teachers in a paragraph can be good, but what we want is major sections. And since we're studying commentaries, this is important. Now, if you scroll down, you can see the various search results. We've got false teachers in chapter 2, warnings against false teachers, the punishment of false teachers. As you can see, these are all major sections talking and discussing about false teachers and false prophets. So I think you'll find that search to be very useful as you search your library. Now, I should mention that there's 3 ways to display your search results. By default, ranked is probably the one that's being used if you haven't used this feature before. You can also click on By Resources, which is helpful in showing you the various book covers and the commentary. So this is by resource, alphabetical by title. And if you click the triangle, you can see the individual sections that came up in the search results. The third item, which I like a lot, is by count. What this is going to do is resort the list and put the resource that has the most hits at the top and the resources that have the least amount of hits at the bottom. So in other words, in my search results, the MacArthur Study Bible talks more about false teachers and false prophets than some of my other resources. So I'm probably going to find more information in the MacArthur Study Bible on this topic than I would in other ones. I mean, look at here at the King James Version Study Bible, only 69 results in 26 articles, where MacArthur has 164 results in 21 or 34 articles, depending on which version you're using. This can be very helpful because you're finding the resource with the most hits, and that typically tends to be the most useful. Now let me go ahead and close this down and return to our personal book. The search helps you find information in your library, and you could certainly search beyond your commentaries, and that's a good idea too. But we also have the collection. So now when you're studying false teachers and false prophets, you have in one place all your commentaries, making it easier for you to search on this particular topic. Now let's move to section 4, which is preparations. This is something I do every time I sit down and study. I create 3 key documents. I create a note document, I create a clippings document, and I create a passage list. The notes document you can download right now at Faith-Life, LearnLogos.com. So let me show you how to do that. Let's go back to faithlife.com, and this time I want you to click on Documents. And down below you can see the various documents that I've added to this page that you can freely access. Now I've made available the false prophets, false teachers. I've made the notes available, the clippings available, and the passage list. Now how do you get these? Well, the first step is you'll see an action button. You want to click on that and you want to choose copy. Now, because I'm the owner of these documents, I don't have that option, but if you do float your mouse over it, over the particular document, you will see the action button. Click on that and choose copy. And do that for the notes file, the clippings document, and the passage list. Now, after you do that, you want to go back to Logos, go up to the top right-hand corner, and you want to click on the 2 arrows that are chasing one another in a circle. Now, once you click it, they'll start to move. Once they stop moving, the sync is completed. So in review, just to make sure we got this in the right order, you click in Faith-Life on Actions and click Copy. Do that for each document. Then come back to Logos, click the 2 arrows that go in a circle. Once they stop moving, you now can go to your document section in the menu. You can go to, let's say, the notes section, and you should see now false prophets, false teachers. If you do, go ahead and click on that to open it. Now you'll see that I've already added some key information into the note file. Now why do we bring notes into this study process? Notes are important because they allow you to collect details and organize those details. So I've already done this for you because as you study the false teachers and false prophets, we need to understand their thoughts, their words and speech, their deeds and activities, their character, their future judgment, and some of their names. We're going to come and actually see a variety of false teachers being mentioned, and we should list those below. So use the note file to collect and organize the details. By the way, you can see here at the bottom right, I've already mentioned 2 false prophets already. Now the next document is clippings. Again, go to Documents if you've synced up and downloaded these, and then expand the clippings section and open up the false prophets and false teachers. If you haven't done this, you can simply go to Documents and go to Clippings and create a new one from scratch. Just click on Documents, Clippings, then click on the pencil and give it a name. Now I'm going to go ahead and open up mine since I've already created it. Now, what is the purpose of a clippings document? I have a sample here already, but here's the purpose. The clippings document is think of it as the old 4x6 white index cards. You would pick up a book at the library, begin reading and saying, oh, that's a really good paragraph. And you'd note the page number, you might make a few notes, and then you put away that index card to review it later. Logos essentially has done the same thing. So let me demonstrate how to use this. I'm going to go up to my toolbar here and just open up the Bible Knowledge Commentary. And I'm going to select a paragraph. Here I'm in Jude 1, and I'm going to just select this information. It's just random, nothing in particular. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the text, and then I'm going to click Add Clipping. You'll notice because the text is selected and I clicked on Add Clipping, all the information that I had selected has been placed right here in the middle. There's also a link to the resource with a date stamp at the top right. Some page numbers and volumes were mentioned here at the lower left. I can add additional information, so I might want to put in false teachers and tag all my cards this way, so that way in the future I can search on this particular tag. There's a note option, so if I click notes, I have additional space to type information. And then in the bottom right-hand corner, if you float your mouse, you'll see a black arrow. If you click on that, you will see the bibliographic information. So this will tell you specifically the article you quoted, the page number if that's included, the year, etc. Very, very useful information. You can see here it says 2:919. That means volume 2, page 919. Now I'm going to click the arrow to return back to my card. So the purpose of clippings is allowing you to quickly scan through information and saying this is important so that you can return to it and then look at it in more detail. And at that point, you would add the information to your notes. So these two work really well in tandem. It allows you to quickly scan through a lot of information, in a sense, bookmark those key sections, and then return to it later when you have more time to study in more detail. Now, there's one more document we need to examine, and that's Documents, Passage List. So I'm going to go to Passage List. I'm going to click False Prophets, False Teachers. I'm going to click on, right now I'm in the full version mode, so I see the full passage. I don't want to do that. I want to be in compact mode, so I'm going to click Compact. Now, I've already gone in here and added some additional information, but you'll notice that essentially the passage list is a place where you can put in Bible passages. These first two are examples of false teachers and false prophets. The third one is a test for false prophets. One of the things I have found to be very helpful is cross-references. That helps me make sure that I'm handling the Bible well, that I'm cross-referencing correctly. So what I do is I type in a passage. So if I type in, for example, let's go back to our Bible. I'm going to open up my New American Standard Bible. And in the Jude text, there is a mention of several false teachers, false prophets. For example, Balaam in Jude 1:11. So I'm going to put in Jude